This is On the Rise by Casshan Wallace, a hypervisual take on the classic ambitious card routine that was used on Penn and Teller Fool Us by Cash. Is this a game changer? Today, we're going to find out. Let's do a performance of On the Rise by Casshan Wallace. Here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to have my spectator, as I go through the cards, just touch any card, like let's say that one. That is the Jack of Hearts. That's a good card. They could have picked any card. But now, I'm going to write my name on the card, as you can see. I'll even add a BF in the corner. That's my signature. We're going to place that on the table, and they can examine it, make sure there's no trapdoors or tricks or magnets or anything like that in the card. And now, when that's done, I take that back and place it in the middle of the deck, but not fully in the middle, just sticking out a little bit. And they can actually, you can spread it out for them, and they can push the card in themselves, square up the packet. And now, the moment you snap your fingers like that, their card actually rises to the top with their signature. That's their card, the same one they signed just a second ago. And now, as if things couldn't get any more fair, I'm going to give their card to my spectator. They hold on to it. And now they place the card anywhere they want in the middle, anywhere. Square up the whole deck. And then when you snap, it jumps to the top again. It's so clean. It's so clean. But that's still based off of the original trick. So we're going to actually mix the deck up. If the ambitious card trick really was real magic, you should be able to see it happen. So we're going to try that today. We're going to take that card that they just signed, place it in the middle of the deck, and they can even see it. I'll spread through all the cards. They can see their card. It's somewhere in their face down. Where is it? There it is. And I'm not going to cull it or anything like that. I'm just going to push that in. And now I'm going to, again, this is going to be insane. You'll see it happen. So watch closely. Don't blink for a second, because the second you do, you'll miss the moment where your card and the signature jumps to the top. That's On the Rise, and the card is now examinable. I hope you enjoyed that performance of On the Rise. As you can see, it's a very, very visual effect, and I think it's one of the most visual, ambitious card routines. It kind of reminds me of Hawk 2.0 by Alexander Koye. And now, let's talk about On the Rise. And first off, I'd like to let all Magic distributors and creators know, if you'd like me to review your product, please contact me at bfanmail@gmail.com. I also do free Magic monthly giveaways, and all you have to do to be eligible is hit that subscribe button. Now let's get into the review. What do you get? When you buy On the Rise, you'll receive a few things in this nice box. First, you'll get a stack of 14 duplicate cards. These are red bicycle back playing cards. In addition, you'll get a red gimmicked card that will allow you to do the first two phases of the routine more cleanly. Then you'll get main gimmicks for the visual part of the routine. You receive another gimmicked card for an optional bonus phase of the routine included. That allows you to make their card appear visually inside the box's cellophane. What you need to provide is a deck of cards, red bicycle cards to be exact. Finally, you'll get the link to the tutorial on the p3magic.com website. What are the quality of the gimmicks? There are multiple gimmicks. The first gimmick, which is not necessary for the effect but makes the trick a lot cleaner, I don't always use it. The gimmick will not last forever, as it does have a component that you will need to eventually reapply, but I'm sure most magicians have that one specific component. The 14 cards are ungimmicked, red bicycle USPCC cards. As I said, they're not gimmicked, and if you have the card signed though, you'll go through one card per performance. However, I don't often have them sign it. I just sign it myself, or pretend to sign it, when I'm really just re-signing the same card over and over again. That way you don't have to go through too many cards. The main gimmick is pretty good quality. It has multiple components and multiple gimmick parts, and it's well made. The main gimmick's very good, but it might break mid-performance. It's unlikely it will, as I double up on the material used, but it's possible. If you want to do the bonus gimmick, which is also well made, if you want to do the bonus gimmick, you need a red bicycle rider back tuck case. And I don't mean the new ones, I mean the old ones that have the actual back design, bicycle back design on the back of the box. Sometimes, by the way, for this effect with the gimmicks, the timing of the gimmicks are hard to get down. It won't always happen at a certain time. Sometimes it takes longer to activate, Sometimes it activates too quickly, but with enough practice, you should be able to figure out the kinks with this. Now, how's the tutorial? The tutorial is very good. It's over an hour and a half. Essentially, Casshan Wallace, the creator of this effect, teaches you everything you need to know step by step. He teaches you all the phases and the bonus phase. He also explains cleanup, reset, repairing the gimmicks, tips, ideas, and some final thoughts. The tutorial has great audio and great video. He's in the P3 Magic Studio. There are live performances of each phase on real audiences, and he also includes a live performance of his performance on Fool Us, Penn and Teller Fool Us. He used it on Penn and Teller Fool Us. I don't know if it fooled them. I don't think it did, but it still got a great reaction out of them. Are there any lighting restrictions? This gimmick works well in a lot of different lighting situations. I actually experimented in it. Here in the studio, there is a lot of bright light shining. When there's too much light, it affects the visibility of the gimmick in the final phase due to a little bit of shadowing. However, as long as there's not extreme light, you should be all right. Now, what is this? Is this a social media or real life effect? This works really great on social media as well as real life. Obviously, if you're doing this on social media, the final phase and the bonus phase work the best as they're the most visual. However, this works even better in real life, because when you make a video like this on social media, people will say this looks like CGI and it's faked, saying you made video cuts and stuff. I have personal experience with that, and that's why this is so much better in real life. What are the angles like? The angles on this are not perfect. Cash says you probably can do this surrounded, but I think it's best if you only have people in front of you at about 90-degree angle. Is this examinable? The deck at the end of the routine can be examined if you do some cleanup, but you don't actually need to remove one of the gimmick cards from the deck, because that one blends right into the deck. As for their signed card, that is examinable completely. Now, let's talk about the difficulty and practicality of the effect. There are 3 phases to the main routine of On the Rise. All of them are within the grasp of a beginner to an intermediate magician, especially because of the gimmicks, which help the sleights. If you can do a double lift and the original ambitious card routine, you should be fine. It's very practical and can work in many different performing situations, including stage, close-up, parlor, and more. For the reset, there are multiple variations taught, but the main one involves palming. The thing you palm isn't as big as a full card, however. The only thing you'll want to be aware of is your audience management and your angles, as I just mentioned. Be careful with your angles. Is there any DIY? There will eventually need to be DIY with our favorite invisible material. We will have to replace it. It takes a couple of minutes. You will have to provide your own material. You don't get any in here. Pocket space. How much pocket space is required for On the Rise? With On the Rise, the pocket space is not too much. Of course, you have to carry around a red bicycle rider back deck, but everyone, almost every magician I know carries those red bicycle decks. The gimmick, you'll only have to carry, it depends on if you want cards signed. If you want cards signed, you should carry around the 14 cards you plan on having signed. And also you need to carry the gimmicks, which are a few cards thick. Now, what is the reset like? This trick does have a reset. It's not instant, but can easily be done in front of your audience. When they're in awe and examining their signed card, which just visually jumped onto the top of the deck, the reset takes about 5 seconds. You can just palm off the gimmicks while they're examining that card. So the reset isn't too difficult. And again, Cash goes through the reset thoroughly in the tutorial. What is the price of On the Rise? On the Rise costs $60 US. Is this worth the price? I do think it's a bit expensive for what you get. However, I'm just here to help you make the decision on whether or not this product is right for you. Personally, I like it. If you plan on using this effect, if it works, and you plan on putting it into your routine, which I do, then $60 is not too much if you're going to use it when you're going out gigging. I think it maybe could have been $45, $50 for what you get, but then again, this is eye candy. What could have helped justifying the price more is including a whole deck of the cards that you have your spectator sign, which are ungimmicked, as well as some extra material in the case that the gimmick you get eventually wears out. What are the pros and cons of On the Rise? The pros are this is fully self-contained. It's a great take on the classic ambitious card routine. It's also killer visual. It's eye candy. The tutorial is detailed. It's in-depth. It's a great tutorial. The effect is fun to perform. There's a bonus gimmick included for the extra phase if you choose to do it. I might be doing it. I probably will only be doing the 3 phases, but it's there if you want to use it. The packaging is nice. There are live performances in the tutorial, and your spectator can sign the card, which adds so much to the effect. If they didn't sign the card, the same effect could have just been done with, it could have been done, I'm trying to phrase this so I don't really give away the method, but it could have been done by one of a card that can be reused over and over, which has a simple principle. It's used for color changing cards. You could use that, but then the card couldn't be signed. But the side aspect of this trick adds a lot to it. And also, this is hands off, completely hands off, and the card is examinable at the end of the trick. The cons are the angles. The angles are something you'll have to watch out for. Also, the gimmicks will eventually wear out, but they are repairable. Also, the price and the reset. By the way, there's one thing to mention. There's a small noise that the gimmick makes when activated, but your spectator shouldn't notice it, especially if you're in a busy environment or you're talking while the card's jumping to the top. Another con is that the gimmick doesn't always activate at a specific time. Timing's a bit tricky sometimes. Also, when you put the cards on the floor, they make it dirty a bit faster, so you can't do cardistry. You can't spread the cards. You can't do that because there's dirt on the floor, especially if the floor is wet. That will stain the cards, and that's never good. So be careful where you're putting the cards. Sometimes I just put it on the table rather than on the floor. What percent do I give this? On the Rise by Casshan Wallace gets a whopping 84%. I definitely planning on using it. It's extremely creative and visual. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.